Come on,
All
Ray,
right.
show some enthusiasm.
Yeah, 3-1. Listen, a win for Arsenal. Let's take it. Let's take it. We rode our luck a little bit. But we'll take it. 3-1 to the Arsenal, beating Manchester United. You can't beat that, right? Beating Manchester United seems like something we do most every other year. And Liverpool, Helen's in here in the comments section. Liverpool got the win today against Everton. We want Liverpool to continue to beat Newcastle next weekend, and then the big one against Spurs. We really need Liverpool to do that to take Spurs out of the fire line for us a little bit. And we did the same here for Man United. So yeah, Matt and Tony, thanks for joining as always.
Great to see you, Ray. Great to see you, Tony. Thanks to everyone in the chat as well. Great to see everybody. Very positive today.
My title here is Rocking Xhaka, Rocking Arsenal. Listen, rocking because the Emirates was rocking in the end, but it was not without some nerves. We were rocking a little bit because it wasn't a comprehensive win, but we got 3 points at the end of the day. So, Matt, that Manchester United team is pretty poor, right? Liverpool beat them 4-0 in midweek, and now we were able to get 3 points over them yesterday.
Yeah, this United team is about as poor as I think I've ever seen it. I can't remember a time where they've been this bad. But we knew that they'd turn up in some kind of way against us. They generally do. So I was expecting some kind of performance and some threat from them. I didn't expect them to roll over because it would have just been typical for them to put in a performance against us. But no, it could have gone either way, couldn't it, really? They had some really good opportunities throughout the game to score. It could have swung the other way, but, fortune favours the bold. And we obviously managed to get the 3 points, and I thought we did very, very well. And also I know you'll talk about Xhaka and El Neni, etc. later, and I thought we had a pretty solid game, but we did ride our luck at times.
Yeah, as Helen said, with pleasure. Liverpool will do the business for us against the Spurs, hopefully. And the one favor we have to return, Matt, is that we're going to beat Everton on the final day of the season. So
we'll fingers crossed.
We'll do our best. We'll do the best part that we can, as long as you return the favor and beat the Blues on 22nd of May. Deal. Arsenal deal, Liverpool deal. And in our own respective rights, we'll do the best we can for our season. Tony, that Man United team is pretty poor, right? Even with Harry Maguire not in the firing line, we were able to do something against them yesterday.
Yeah, they're a poor team, but we're still kind of lucky to get a win. Had them hitting the penalty off the bar, questionable Xhaka goal, but we got the 3 points. I'm happy.
Yeah. Matt, at this time of the season, and want to welcome in Steve Denham, who's going to won't be in the chat much, but he's going to be watching us on TV. We're up on the big screen. Mr. Tom, look who it is. It's Tony Turner and the gang. And Mr. Tom, we are enjoying football a little bit more now, Matt. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Smiles on faces again, which is nice. Long may it continue. And Xhaka boom indeed. I went nuts when that went in.
And Xhaka turned up with his 1 goal a season. He did his special, the Xhaka special.
If you're going to do it, at least do it then. Why not?
Mr. Tom also wants us to beat Everton. One of our fans got stabbed outside Anfield, and that's horrible. Anytime, any kind of knife violence, any kind of violence in general is just to be condemned in the highest manner speakable. So football is supposed to be about having a little bit of banter, coming together, and enjoying the game for what it is. Eddie Nketiah is a hero. Listen, Matt and I were just on a podcast with Glenn, Apollo, Alex, and Paul from in the North Bank called the Back Five. And Apollo told us a few things about Eddie Nketiah, which I to be fair, I had put together some stats, Matt. 33 starts for Eddie and 20 plus goals. But what looks deceiving is all of the substitute appearances he gets. It makes it look a lot worse, like 63 or something like that for 80 appearances, only 20 goals. So that is Eddie so far, and he needs to step up a little bit as well, right, Matt?
Yeah, it's very interesting speaking to Apollo and hearing, because obviously he's very pro Nketiah, and some of the statistics were a bit eye-opening, actually. I hadn't heard all of those. And I think, you start thinking, actually, this guy can do a job if he's given enough starts, if he's given enough time, maybe actually, with enough opportunity, he can actually bag some goals for us and offer us something different. And I think, we've seen in the last two games, particularly, that, I've been very critical of him. I don't think he's necessarily been as involved up top. He seems a bit isolated, struggles in the Premier League. But actually, maybe that is just down to the fact that he's not been given enough time to make an impact in games. We've seen the last two performances have been fantastic. He's been very direct, chasing balls down, making runs and making himself a nuisance, getting on to the end of things. Yes, he still needs to be a bit more clinical, but he puts himself in the right areas to grab a goal. He'll hunt balls down, which the likes of Lacazette won't do. We saw that with that Chelsea goal. And he offers us something different, which we don't have. So I'm hoping that he does get more chance to play now, between now and the end of the season. And like we were saying before, hopefully he can show himself to be good enough to, maybe stay at the club next season and be a good second option, maybe going forwards. But that's down to him and ultimately Arteta to give him that opportunity and enough game time.
And the one thing I did say personally was he needed to be a little bit more clinical. He had a great chance in this game against United. He needs to be tucking those away, especially toward the end of the season. A lot of Arsenal fans have made up their mind on Eddie right now, but if he can do 3 or 4 goals till the end of the season, he may convince some of the fans, as well as obviously Arteta's a fan. And Apollo is a fan, says Mr. Tom here. Great result for you guys, says Helen. I'm so pleased. I was laughing at Man United. They are a mess. Tony, Man United are the team that we were when Mikel Arteta took over.
Yeah, they kind of screwed up by firing Ole. If you ask me, they finished second and third. They weren't doing that bad with him this year. Just forced players on him that he didn't really want. And now you see what they're doing under Ragnarok. To be curious what happens when he goes to the director of football. But I think they'll be okay when
It's funny.
they get 10 head
No,
again.
no. First, you have
Fine.
to stop what you are saying. I hear you're talking about my team, and no, we are very confident in front of goal. I think it is wrong what you are saying here, and I wanted to come on today, and I want to buy your midfield player, Granit Xhaka. I think he's very good. He changed the game for you yesterday. And I feel that if we add him into our team, perhaps in the summer, it would be good for us. But no, the young man at the bottom there, he is wrong. We are not a mess.
We are a
very good team.
Ralph. That is Tony. Yeah, we were just talking about your team, and your team is not very good right now. And what will you do moving upstairs for the club?
Look. I'll be very honest. There are many bastards that currently play for me. Those bastards are going to be moved on, and we'll bring in some people who want to do a good job for Man United and the team.
Right. Ralph, how did you see the goals yesterday? You were disputing, in particular, Granit Xhaka's rocket from 25 yards out.
What else could I do but dispute it was a magnificent goal. It changed the game at that time, but I feel that there was a little bit of a problem with officiating. Usually, the officials are always with us at Man United. But yesterday there seemed to be a change. So that is something I feel that we will need to look at closely.
Ralph, BX Gunner has said here of the Chelsea game, the Jorginho penalty was criminally taken. I noticed Jorginho took that penalty in much the same manner as one of your players, Bruno Fernandes. What do you have to say about that penalty miss?
Well, I have to say that I am not one for all of that skipping around and jumping on the spot before a player runs up to take his penalty. So, I mean, Bruno Fernando, he can do many things. In fact, he's a very talented young man. I have seen him, for example, I have seen him um, eat an apple through a letterbox all
Letterbox.
by himself. Yes, I've seen him do this. And, this is not something that anyone can do. So he's a
Yeah,
special
but
boy.
Raf, you would not say this is a football talent, right?
Well, you never know when, Luis Suarez, he also could bite an apple for a letterbox. And we saw how that came in handy for him as a player, yes?
Hmm. Okay. Where do you go from here, Ralph? Obviously to the next game, but do you have a plan for the remainder of the season?
No, not really. I
Right.
like to, I'm a little bit, my management style is a little bit like, how you say, freeform jazz. We improvise and we make it up as we go along.
Mr. Tom says,
Or
I like
more
how
like
Ralph
Wreck It,
sounds.
Wreck It, Ralph.
Yeah,
Well,
Wreck-It Ralph.
this is something that has also been said before. Anyway, look, I just wanted to say hello.
Yep.
I know you're doing good things here. And if there is a way that perhaps, we could bring Granit Xhaka into the team, then this is something that I would consider. Auf Wiedersehen.
I think it is something that we would consider also, Tony. But
So,
yeah, that was Ralph Ragnick. We heard yesterday, Tony, he was not very happy about Arsenal getting more goals than Manchester United. You see, in theory, he heard from Tommy Tuchel that the practice is that you give Arsenal more goal, you score goals for Arsenal, because Chelsea clearly scored 5 goals at the midweek, and Ralph Ragnick wanted to continue that for us.
yeah, we weren't given the gifts that we gave midweek.
Um, so Stephen wants to know that the channel is off its trolley, but we like to have a little bit of fun. We are going to talk about football, and it was not planned for Ralph Ragnick to come in, but when a manager, or I don't know what we're going to call him, Matt, he's moving upstairs. Somebody in the Manchester United administration comes on. We have to obviously have a conversation. Uh, is everyone high as a kite, as you guys say? Tony is off his rocker. No, we're actually going to talk about the game now.
I'm the sane one.
You are, yeah, that is not good. When you are the sane one, that is not good. Okay, so Man United, they've not been good on these early kickoffs, Matt. It was before the game 1 out of 6 that they've been good this season on early kickoffs, but it would come to pass that they'd lose against Arsenal again. So their record on early kickoffs is not very good. And what I really like, Matt, is Arsenal getting 3 points early doors in the weekend and watching the rest of the results roll in for us to our benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to see us kind of take advantage of others' poor form, going and putting 3 points on the board where maybe we wouldn't have done before. We had that kind of pretty drab draw with United last time, didn't we? And didn't really take advantage of that. So, it's nice to actually see us, make the most of this. They're not exactly playing well. It's a good 3 points. Like you say, we were a bit lucky in places. We didn't play our best football, I don't think. We were a bit ropey defensively at times, I thought. Tavares had a bit of a nightmare at times. Ramsdale even had a couple of moments as well, which weren't great. But do you know what? The most important thing is we got 3 points on the board, and we saw it out, and we ran out winners. We desperately needed that after those 3 games with Palace, Brighton, and Southampton. Great to beat Chelsea, but we've got to carry that on, and we really needed to beat United, really, to, like you say, make the most of that. And now sitting fourth, 2 points ahead of Tottenham, that's really important. Going into the last few games, we're going to need that buffer, and hopefully, like you say, with Liverpool playing them, they can do us a favour. But yeah, it's back in our hands again, And did we think that that was going to be the case after those 3 games? I certainly didn't. I'd pretty much not written us off, but I didn't see a way for us to come back, seeing how we were playing. I didn't think we'd turn it around, and especially didn't think we'd get 7 goals in 2 games. That just was out of nowhere. So no, it's pleasing. I think it's a massive confidence boost. With the games we've got left, that's just at the right time to give us a little bit of wind in our sails now to go towards the end of the season and really finish off what we all want and go and get what we all want. It's that 4th place.
So Matt, Helen's asking how many more points now. Realistically is the key word here. Realistically, can Arsenal get? And I'll throw up here the games we have remaining. So Tottenham is sandwiched in between a bunch of 5 games. West Ham, they're going to have those centre-back difficulties from today's game. Leeds, West Ham and Leeds. Sorry, Mr. Tom. We got to get 3 points there. And then Newcastle and Everton. I would think if we take 10 points, I think that would be enough. That's my opinion. Beat West Ham, beat Everton, beat Leeds. And then we could lose one of the – maybe we're going to lose up at Newcastle. We'll lose that game, I think, and draw with Tottenham. Yeah. So we could easily go unbeaten for the next 5 games. But what do you think? I'm taking 10.
See, I think beat West Ham, beat Leeds, possibly draw with Tottenham, possibly draw with Newcastle and beat Everton. So that's 2, 5, 8, 11.
11 points. So, Tony, what do you think?
Win, draw, or a slim win. You took it off there for me.
I'll leave it up. Sorry. Win, draw, slim win.
Well, I said West Ham's a win, Leeds is a draw or a slim win. Spurs would probably be a draw or a loss.
You gotta be specific. Pick. You can't give an or.
Oh, okay. Let's go. Win, draw, win.
Okay, he's giving us 3 draws and 2 wins, right? 9 points there. Okay, so we finished on 69. We're definitely going to need Liverpool to give us some breathing room when it comes to Tottenham there. We'll get into the game then very quickly here. All right, Steve, not too bad, says Riddy. Life is always better after beating Chelsea and the Manx, definitely. Listen, we got to savor these wins. I know you're hating me saying it's a roller coaster, but I'm going to take it from the fans' perspective. You gotta enjoy the ups, and while the downs are there, not take them so badly. Do you think the Spurs game being the decider for the 4th? Yeah, the Spurs game will be the deciding game, really. Or December said that. Definitely December. And December, are you back a little bit more on the Arteta train now? I know Tony asked you when Southampton went down, when Brighton went down, were you off the train? Are you a little bit on it now, December? I know Tony's going to want to ask that, right? 13 points from Riddy. You don't need to beat Leeds. What is this madness? You're in a race with Spurs. If Spurs, Matt, continue to be Spursy, we may not need to beat Leeds, but I'm sorry, it's the second game coming up here in 5. So I'd rather have the points on board rather than wait to the final day of the season.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's only a 2-point gap, and we've seen what happened in the 3 games with Palace, Brighton, and Southampton, that can very easily disappear in games which you think we're going to win and you think that we should win. So that's great at the moment, but we need to continue what we're doing. We do ideally need Spurs to be Spursy and drop some more points. That would be excellent and really help us out. But they have got the easier running, so it's going to be tough. It's about keeping up what we're doing now. This is these wins. this is what we've got to continue until the end of the season. It's no good, going and losing 3, winning 2, and then going losing 2 and then winning 2. You can't do that. We're now really in a battle for top 4. It's still on. We thought it had gone. It's now back in our control again, and we've got a second bite at the apple now. So let's just keep our cool.
Here's the thing, Matt. I mean, we're talking about this 5 games from the end of the season. Could you imagine at the beginning of the season we'd be saying it's in our hands to get top 4?
No. I think beginning of the season, Ray. I think I said between 6th and 8th. I think. Mm-hmm. I didn't predict. I thought we might do a little bit better, but I definitely didn't think we would be in a race for top 4. I think to be in the mix, we are exceeding expectations before the beginning of the season. There's definitely things that have to improve. There's definitely things that, clearly haven't been great this season, and some decisions both at managerial level and on the pitch that haven't been fantastic, but hopefully we'll learn from that. But yeah, to say we're in a top 4 race at this point is phenomenal. I definitely didn't think it before the beginning of the season, so I'm happy that we're there. But like I say, we've got a lot of work to do, if we're really going to be pushing on from here.
Yeah. Helen said, I mean, Geordie's are building a good team and getting results, but I think, in my opinion, most difficult is either the next game with West Ham and Liverpool go up to Newcastle next weekend, which is going to be another one of those games they need to grind out and get a win. Chiro Immobile is cooking, says BX Gunner. I think the Trophy Dodgers will fall off with a Liverpool loss and a draw or 2, costing them 5 to 7 points before we play them. I do think I'd like to get another 10 points out of these 5, just to get close to 70 points, Tony, because you never know, and it's going to go weekend by weekend. We're going to have to match what Tottenham do or better what they do, Tony.
Yep. Do you think your 66 is going to be enough?
66 is a marker. I think Tottenham might just get 8 points. So I'd like to get above 66 points for sure. All the rest of your games are wins, in my opinion. And we'll talk about West Ham and the suspension to Dawson there as well. Definitely played into our hands a little bit. Unfortunate that Chelsea got that late goal. Right now, I'd be talking about pushing for the 3rd place, and we could still do that, but obviously 4th place, we have to concentrate on it. The Assemble said, I've never really believed in this manager. He seems to stumble into team lineups that is obvious to everyone. Do you realize we conceded more goals the last season with an improved defense? And that's leading into Tony's, what Tony's going to say. Saka is the first Arsenal
player. Was that 90 million worth it, Ray?
Huh?
Was that 90 million worth it?
I still believe it was, because you know what? We have upgraded in those positions that I've talked about. Tommy Asu is better than Hector Bellerin. Congratulations, Hector Bellerin. He's picked up a Copa del Rey today, I think. Ramsdale's better than Leno for me. And Tavares is a left back that's going to have to learn. And we're going to talk about Tavares pretty soon. Yeah. We're going to lead right into Tavares in that conversation because he did score the first goal yesterday. And then Ben White, whether he's better than David Luiz or not is debatable, but he's going to have to improve, and Gabriel's going to have to improve, Tony.
It's kind of weird, like the whole communication between the back 5 have completely broken down since Tierney's went out. Gabriel is usually good at communicating. Him and Tierney communicated, so I'm not sure what the issue is, but
we'll get into that. We'll get into that Ronaldo goal a little bit later, but I believe I would put it more at Ronaldo and his movement rather.
The whole team was asleep, I think.
They were,
pick one player.
That's become a thing, Matt. In the last couple of games, we score a goal and we sort of lose concentration and concede a goal a few minutes after that.
Well, it's like Tony was saying with Ronaldo. I watched that back today, and he drifted pretty much from just inside our half all the way across the pitch into the right-hand side of our box, completely unwatched. No one picked him up. No one looked at him. No one bothered to even track his run. He just made that run with no one there at all. You can't do that. You can't have a player of that caliber just drifting unmarked and unwatched. You can't do that. So
I don't know
we're
what's happened to
napping.
the communication there.
Yeah.
But we are napping, and there's that communication seems to have dropped off a little bit. Ramsdale was very much the key in that. I think at the back. I don't know whether have I noticed that he's been less vocal.
Possibly a little bit shaky as well.
I don't think I've seen him as vocal. He still celebrates as much, but has he been as vocal organisationally?
Celebrates with the rival fans or antagonizes the rival fans.
Yeah.
We don't mind that so
Yeah.
much. Mr. Thompson is Saka is the first Arsenal player to win and score a penalty in consecutive games since Ian Wright in 1995. Good company keeping it here. Matt, here's the burning question. If you do land fourth place, how do you envisage doing so much better in the Champions League? Arsenal have been so bad. We will exist in the Champions League. We're not going to set it on fire. Consistency in the league has to be getting top four consistently, Matt, for the next 5-6 years.
100%. The league comes first. Ultimately, yes. We like. I think the way you've put it actually is probably perfect. Existing, being there is effectively what we're going to do. I believe we're not going to set the world on fire. I think we're just going to need to keep on focusing on just being in the competition, being in those top four places, and being up there until we can build up a bit of experience. Our squad is solidified and finalised, with the summer signings and all of that kind of stuff. And when we've kind of hit our stride a little bit where we can push on and maybe compete a little bit more in those kind of competitions. Bear in mind, we've been out of pretty much every competition this season. We've got a very thin squad and we're still kind of scrambling for top four. Whilst it's a great achievement, we haven't had the same level of competition and commitment that other teams have had. So it's going to be a very interesting season next season when you throw that all back in the mix again. What they do with the squad, what additions they make, how they balance the team, how effectively they can do that. It's going to be really interesting. But I definitely think that Champions League is not going to be our priority next season. It's very much going to be a game. Let's hit top four. Let's stabilise ourselves as a top four side again consistently, and then we'll push on from there and maybe start to compete in Europe again.
What we have to do is ensure that the squad is mature enough to understand you're going to have to play. You're going to want to play in these high profile games, right? But then when it comes to the bread and butter of the league, it's the bread and butter, Tony, that's going to get you into the Champions League every year.
And so I have to beat Arteta playing youth players, academy players. It's to be so hard to get the depth we need and compete in 4 competitions.
Yeah.
Arteta hasn't really rotated players much in the competitions this year. So I'm seeing him doing it next year, even though he's going to have to.
It's going to have to be.
It's to be a tough task for us to stay in the top 4 the way he manages players.
It's so competitive in the league to stay in the top 4. And for us to improve next year, we're going to have to be at Chelsea. We're going to have to be trying to nip at the heels of Liverpool and Manchester City and be where Chelsea are now, which are pretty much set in 3rd place.
We can't start with season with 3 preseason games next year, right?
No, understand that, of course. Ronaldo was not just a one-time thing, said why not. It happened several times in the game. Between him and Sancho, Bruno should have scored twice. And the game could have turned. It was a tale of 2 penalties, right, Matt? We scored with ours, and Bruno, thankfully, with that hop and a skip, missed his.
Yeah, but should ours been... We should have even had a penalty. We should have just played advantage and should have been Eddie's goal, I think.
Yeah.
Well, let's face it, even with that penalty missed, I mean, I think on around 25 minutes, Dallo hit the bar. They had so many opportunities to score and missed and put us on the back foot. I mean, Ramsdale really put us under pressure, didn't he? Where his distribution went out to, I think, was it Scott McTominay put Bruno through?
Yeah.
He should have scored. They had chance after chance in that game. They definitely had far more clear-cut chances to score than we did. So we did ride our luck. In another game, 2 or 3 of those goals go in. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
um,
Arsenal Misfit says getting into the Champions League, but the trick will be staying there and using it to build a club with the extra money. We will not be good there for a few years, but it will get better and better. And
yeah,
that's a very, I think that's a very rational comment there. It doesn't go too high, doesn't go too low. It's diagnosed where we are as a club right now. The Arsenal Misfit, great comment
Like
there.
I keep saying, we have to be there the season after this, bigger format, more games, more money.
BX
But to
Gunny,
me, go
we
ahead.
move. Huh? The confidence, morale, and team spirit, Tony, is through the roof right now. So we have to take that 7 days from now. It's got to go into the next game against West Ham.
I'm not sure if it's through the roof or not, though, the way the players have been playing.
You know, didn't Arsene Wenger say confident? You have to go up the stairwell to get your confidence going, but you can go down the elevator to lose your confidence. It's that quick that it happens to you. Tavares and Cedric got ripped repeatedly, and Gabriel got caught napping. Ben White's behavior or lack of concentration is rubbing off, unfortunately. So, Matt, let's start off with Nuno scores his Uno. Nuno scored his Uno Arsenal goal.
do you know what? I think fair play to him. You know, do you know what? Why not's comments are right. You know, Tavares didn't have the greatest of games overall defensively. You know, Elanga had the better of him pretty much all game. Just completely had the better of him. Pace beat him pretty much every time down that side. He had a bit of a torrid time against him, really. But yeah, fair play. He put his chance away. You know, it was a good crossing from Xhaka. Varane just look. I mean, I don't know how he's done that. He just completely flapped.
Two of them.
Two of them, yeah. Well, both of them flapped at it and ballerinaed and pirouetted and missed it. And someone's got to be there at the end of the day to kind of be there and try and poke it in the back of the net, and he was, you know, and by all rights, he probably shouldn't have been there, you know, given his position. So he had the foresight to get on the end of it, and he put it away, you know. So no, it's great, good for him. Like I say, it's a confidence booster. He's not had the best of times recently, so hopefully grabbing a goal will boost his morale a little bit. I know he probably won't feel too good after his defensive performance because it wasn't great, but a goal will pick him up a little bit, and he will get better. I think he's a good player. I think there's a good player in there, but he's just had a bit of a bumpy ride. He's young.
Yeah. Listen. I'm of the opinion that if you have a problem with Kieran Tierney last season and you needed to address the left back position, you have to go out and get yourself some cover. We bought a left back. And to not use him was criminal, Tony. I believe if you have a player in your squad that's going to play in that position, you have to play him good and bad. And we saw both yesterday from Nuno.
Yeah, he shouldn't, like Matt said, he shouldn't have been that far up the pitch. I think that's his problem, is Arteta's having him rush forward when he should be staying back and just concentrating on defense. If he wants him rushing forward, then play a back three. Have him as a wing back. I think he is a wing back. I don't think he's really a left back. If it was me, I would have been playing Cedric there, never played Xhaka there. I think that would have been the best thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I said, just have him, Tavares, stay back there and just play left back instead of running forward. I think that's where he's getting in trouble, but he's in the right place at the right time for the goal. Matt said he shouldn't have been there, but it was a good goal. It kind of bounced everywhere. He's in the right place. And
yeah, listen, if you want, I mean, Arteta wanted to play him a little bit further, get on the front foot, be down that wing. So by giving that instruction, Matt, Tavares is there at the back post when Saka takes that shot, left-footed shot to the far post. The Gea gets the parry on it, but Tavares is able to maneuver and get on the end of it. So that's the positive, right, Matt? But the negative
it's great.
The negative then is 15 minutes. Elanga, as the Semble said, has fast control and he gets past Tavares. And I just thought the angles that Tavares took was very bad. And he got outpaced. And you know, there's a penalty question mark about his tackle in the box. VAR take a quick look at it, and it's not a penalty for them.
Yeah, I probably would have agreed with that. It wasn't enough, I don't think, for the penalty, but I think it could easily have been, a little bit more contact, or because like I say, the angles weren't great. So again, we got away with it a little bit. He got the better of Tavares. It was almost a bit of a warning there that he's going to have a bit of a tough game. But Ramsdale did well to have a low save there and kind of prevent anything coming from it. But it was definitely a warning shot. And there's plenty more of that throughout the rest of the game, wasn't there?
I'd just like to ask Helen as well in the chat box. Helen's a Liverpool supporter, so I'm not saying that Tavares is similar to Simicast, but do you see maybe Simicast needed to play games, Helen, in order to get a little bit better, backing up Robertson as well? So Mr. Tom said, if my team beat Chelsea and Man United and the worst player on the pitch, I'd shut up and leave him alone.
I mean, he's got a fair point there, hasn't he? Really, can't knock that, can you?
Do you see top four as being LFC, City, Chelsea, and Arsenal, where relegation is Norwich, Watford, and Everton? Yeah, pretty much. I think Burnley have shown enough to be able to get themselves out of these positions year after year.
They have a managerial bounce, right?
Yeah, the managerial bounce as well. Yes, leave him on loan. So, Matt, what do you think is pretty much, if Arsenal can make that top four, do you think the bottom three are the bottom three right now?
Yeah, I think so. I think Everton are really struggling. I think they haven't got that experience to be in that position. They're not used to being there. I think they're really struggling with that side of things. I think Burnley have obviously been in and around there. They've got the nous, they've got the experience. They've been in those kind of battles before. And I think that plays a big role at this time of the season, especially with the change. I know obviously Burnley have gone through a change of manager as well. But Everton are all over the place at the moment. And I don't think Lampard is really the right person to dig them out of that. I think it's bad times for Everton. I can't see them.
Yeah.
I think if I remember rightly, they haven't got the easiest of run-ins either. So I can't see them digging themselves out of that.
How good are our youngsters doing, considering it's their first or second season playing in the Premier League? Amazing. I mean, this would be unprecedented if the average age of this team, Tony, it would be unprecedented if they were able to make it into the top four.
I just still worry about long-term fitness and health of some of the players. Like Saka, Arteta said he was a doubt before the game. Now he's picked up a thigh injury, so we don't know how long he's going to be gone.
Yeah. So, I think the reason why I think Burnley is better than Arsenal,
Keep my team's name out of your motherfucking mouth. Sorry, just a joke there. I've been obviously for the Oscars there.
What happened to your opal fruits?
All right, lads. How you doing? I was just I've got a lot of time on my hands. A lot of time on my hands at the moment. So I just thought I'd pop in and see how you were doing. And obviously, I heard you talking about my old team there. So how are we today on this Sunday, lads? How are we doing?
Doing fine. How
Doing
could you
well.
do some Starburst? Do you have some Starburst or Opal fruits to share with us?
No, actually, I had treatment about that, and I've now been weaned off of the opal fruits, Tony, so to speak. So a new lease of life for me now. I've got so much time on my hands at the moment. I was thinking of I've got a couple of projects on the back burners. I was thinking of opening a call center. Sort of like have some students in, and we sort of make appointments for double glazing salesmen that could be in your area.
Sean,
So yeah.
Okay, you've obviously been fired by Burnley.
Well, I think fired. Hold on, Raymond. Fired is a very harsh word.
Sacked.
Let go.
Harsher, but
Let go. Relieved of your duties. Okay.
Yes.
Whatever it is, but since then your team has played quite well without you. Were you the problem?
Well, I left them. I kind of left them in good stead, so to speak. I've been at that club for quite a long time now. And it was maybe time for a change, so to speak. Sean,
I think we have a Burnley fan in the chat box here. power puncher brothers, Burnley will get Europe next season.
Look, to be fair, now that I'm not at the helm, I think the only way that Burnley will be going into Europe is if they jump on a ferry and go over to Calais to buy some cigarettes and fags for the day.
Well, it could be the Super Lidl's Europa Conference Championship, which is opened up to the top 12 teams in the league at this point. It just seems like there's more and more teams in Europe now.
Well, you know what, Raymond, as I've been spending many a day now over the last week, just, lying around the lounge in my underpants, watching daytime television shows like Cash in the Attic, I've been thinking to myself, well, what is it all for? Is it all worth it? All the time I spent there as a football manager, I could have been doing other things like opening a call center.
Well,
double glazing salesman.
We wish you well, Sean, and we do hope that you find what you're looking for. Sean sounds like
you mean like Bono?
What?
Like Bono?
Yeah.
Did he ever find what he was looking for? I don't know. Did he ever find it?
Yeah,
who knows? Small joke there.
Sean sounds like he's not eating as many bricks now. He's on welfare benefits. Says why not?
Yes, indeed. Indeed. So anyway, lads, look, where do you think your team is going to finish at the end of the season? All said and done, when the dominoes fall, so to speak, where do you think you're going to end up?
I really do think with these two latest results, beating Chelsea, beating United, they were the two results we needed to kickstart this run in. If we continue to play Nuno Tavares in a left back position and not put Granit Xhaka back there, we continue to play El Neni in midfield until Partey is fit again. And if we actually continue with Eddie Nketiah, who's given us something up front, I think we have a fighting chance at top four. What do you think?
Forget about Saka's health, Ray.
You know what? That's a very well thought out and methodical plan you have there, Raymond.
Yes.
You should have put yourself forward for my old job. I think you would have at least got an interview. I think.
I need a white shirt. I need a really, really well pressed white shirt, right, Matt?
Do you know what? I reckon Sean could get an apprenticeship at Arsenal next season. How about that?
An apprenticeship under Mikel?
Yeah.
Under Mikel? No. I mean, if I'm going to go in there, I need to be the main man, I need to be pulling all of the strings, so to speak, Anyway, look, I can't spend my Sunday on here talking to you lot all morning. I've got a lot of... there's been a lot of VAR decisions over the weekend, and as you know, one of my pastimes is to catalogue and log all VAR incidents. So I'm going to go off for the rest of my Sunday now and watch a lot of VAR stuff and just document it. Anyway, take care, lads. Speak to you next time. Bye.
Thanks, Sean. I think it's amazing that as the conversation's coming up, different characters are popping in to chat about it. So, our appeal must be wide and far-reaching, Tony.
Yep. Lots of fans from all over the world.
2-0 to the ladies as well. Big up the ladies. Hopefully Chelsea can have a little bit of a stumble. The ladies can as well as the men have been. Okay, so yeah, Matt, where do you stand on Tavares then? Keep playing him or do you give him a rest? I think Arteta has been quoted as saying he took him out of the firing line because he wanted to save his confidence. Is that something we should trust the manager to do? Or do we second guess what's going on with the club,
Do you know what? You're stuck in a bit of a difficult place, aren't you? Because you've got two options there, really, or standard options anyway. Kieran Tierney's not fit, then obviously you play Tavares, and we really should be playing players in position. I'm not really a believer of bringing Xhaka back into that position because he's such an important part of our midfield this season at the moment, and we can't really cope with when he's not there. I know Elneny's done a fantastic job. Lokonga, I don't think is quite ready yet, as Xhaka has to be in that midfield. So, ultimately that left back position has to be filled by Tavares.
What about Cedric? He can play there.
Yeah, Cedric can play. I think you could use Saka, but Saka's too important.
we played Cedric last year away to Aston Villa, and he gave the ball away, and we conceded a goal in the first minute. Didn't win the game. I'm not in favor of playing a right back in the left back position.
Yeah, but he's played both in his career.
Yeah, it's just he didn't perform very well last year, and I think Tavares. I think we persevere with him. You're going to get inconsistencies with him, but if you can win games, and he's going to learn for next season, I think he's a better option. Whilst Kieran Tierney is out.
I just don't think we can keep.
That's why we bought him. If you have a left back, use him at left back. Unless there's a real reason why we can't use him. If it's confidence, then manage it. Give him the confidence. But just keep him playing. We need him. That's why he's there. He's our backup.
Tony, would you persevere with Nuno Tavares at left back, or do?
I want to keep pulling him like Arteta has. He needs to go out there and play. But like I said earlier, I would put him as wing back, play a back three.
Yeah, but then you're losing something up front, right?
Are we?
You're losing Erdegaard, or you're losing a midfielder then by doing that.
Probably Smith Rowe. Probably who you're losing.
Okay. December said, Ray, what do you think of Emil Smith Rowe's form, and why is Nketiah, who's leaving, given opportunities up front, but Martinelli, who's apparently staying, not given any opportunities to show his abilities? I think Martinelli's played against Liverpool, and whilst he was very good in 1-1 situations, he was not able to find players. I don't think he's able to connect very well right now. Maybe Martinelli's not in form for me. Nketiah,
I just don't think he has the passing ability. He can score, but he just doesn't involve his teammates. He just trucks forward, looks straight at the goal, goes straight forward, or goes straight to the left. Pauses and see if anybody's open, but usually he doesn't.
I also feel Tony Martinelli's been played out on the left wing as well. We saw yesterday Emil Smith Rowe looked lost out there. He wasn't getting none of the play was going down the left for Emil Smith Rowe. He was taken off after in the second half after a number of minutes. So I do feel that left side position, whoever plays out there, is starved of possession a little bit. And
Lazaka and Tavares are not getting the ball down the left flank like we have before.
And I think, Tony, to finish up the Assemble's question, Nketiah is given opportunities while he's backed it up with a couple of goals against Chelsea. So I want to see what he's going to do for the rest of the season in that forward position, Tony.
To me, at best, he's still a third option. I'd let him go. We should have let him go start of last season. This season, Palace wanted him. Eddie wanted too much money.
Could he do anything for the remainder of the season to change your mind?
I think he's in the right position. I just don't think he lacks the physicality that we need in the Premier League. I don't think teams that have had the time to adjust to him being up there instead of Lacazette, even though Lacazette really wasn't up there. He's back in the midfield. But I just don't think teams have had time to adjust for what we've done the last two games. Plus, Chelsea was a tired team. United's just not very good.
Yeah. Look, I'll be the first to say we rode our luck, and we're going to get into that a little bit more, Matt, as well. We rode our luck yesterday, but just going to you with the Assembles stuff on Nketiah, Martinelli, and Emil Smith Rowe, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, Nketiah, is he giving him more opportunity? I think it's needs must. I think when Gabriel, like I say, when Martinelli has been up there, he hasn't really done a lot. I think he tends to do more when he's out wide. But like Tony says, he tends to not really bring others in much. He tends to be very direct down the byline and attacks players, but he doesn't really bring anybody else in. I think Nketiah as a forward has done more, as a striker than Martinelli has done. And I think you would probably play him before Martinelli at this point, especially after the last couple of games. I think he's really shown what he's capable of. But he's playing him over Martinelli because he kind of has to. And two, is he maybe playing him because, is he looking to maybe keep him? That contract's not signed yet. Is this the opportunity? Has he said to him, look, this is your chance. show us what you've got until the end of the season, and maybe there'll be a contract for you at the end of it, and we'll keep you and give you more opportunities next year. But obviously, it's down to whether he wants to stay as well. So,
yeah, I want to welcome, and of course, Matt here.
Hi, Matt.
Our shirt's
I
not
love-
Freddie Mercury. It looks like a Queen
I love
video.
the lighting there.
Queen album.
Floating head. The floating head. Of course, it's dark there in South Africa.
Where's the Queen music at, Ray?
Dave.
Yeah,
Dave
where's the tune? I know that one tune. I'm trying to get the tune down. That's all.
floating head.
How was happening, my guys? Hey, man, floating head camera this evening. Awesome.
Hi, Freddie. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
I know, Stephen. That's the position he was playing. Arteta retrained him. He is now winger. I just don't think Martinelli is going to be tried through the centre, and I don't think he should be tried through the centre. I think he can prosper.
No, he
coming
could be
off
trying as
fullback.
He's that Sanchez type player. I don't think he has to be there. I think
Yeah.
left's the best place for him right now until he learns to pass and develop
So,
other parts of his game.
We've had a lot of requests for Sean Dyke, Ralph Ragnick to come on, Steve Bruce to come on, but Mr. Tom's just asking for Sten. Is Sten going to be available tonight? So, but Mahir, thanks for joining us. Good to see you, and tell us your thoughts on yesterday's game.
Shocking.
Shocking
Get
good
out.
or shocking bad?
Get out. I'm tired.
You can't
No,
talk like you could have that opinion, but you can't. It's not really being backed up right now.
Look, crazy wins, man. Crazy wins. I was not celebrating last week. I was kind of hoping for Chelsea to split us, and then we beat Chelsea, and then I'm like, okay, so then we can beat United. But I'm still not confident. And then I turn on, I start watching the game. I'm like, oh my God, guys are turning up. Where was this 3 games ago to make it comfortable? Because we can still get top 4. Like I honestly believe top 4 is like right there now. It's right there. Well, the team's bottling, United bottling it, lovely jubbly. What is the other one? Yeah, man, it's good stuff.
Whatever Eddie's doing, Martinelli or Pepe can do the same job, if not better. Yeah, I just don't know about
I think so.
in the middle. Which player has surprised you guys for Arsenal?
Hi, Helen.
Not here. Which player has surprised you the most this season?
The win against United.
Which player themselves have surprised
The
you?
entire season.
Oh, the entire season. Let's see. Let's not go with regular names like Emil Smith Rowe and Saka. I think it would have to be. Yeah, I don't actually know. I don't actually know. I would give it to one of the two of them. Emil Saka, Emil Smith.
I'll give it to Emil Smith Rowe. December says here exactly, Ray. So why is Martinelli being put on the left when he won't be involved down the left? I think you have to play the player in the position. It's his best position. It's the players around him that are not helping him.
Yeah, he hasn't done too good when he's been played on, all right.
Yeah, he's definitely should be played left wing, but it's not his fault that he's not getting the service. It's not Emil Smith Rowe's fault.
It's Arteta's fault.
Exactly.
Everything's Arteta's fault. Harry Redknapp was a good manager, may have been Spurs manager, but he was a good one nonetheless. Okay, that's kind of history lesson there, Tony. Harry Redknapp. Maybe we're talking about Frank Lampard.
Yes.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't want Eddie to say he has to be moved on. I want better strikers, even if he's a third choice. He's not good enough. It's time for him to go. Maher, where are you at White Hart Lane? Are you at White Hart Lane? Because it's dark there. I think I'll take Martin Yole over Redknapp. Okay, so
that's a throwback. Martin Yole. Blimey.
Martin Yole is Maher broadcaster from my house.
Escape the basement. He's just trying to escape the basement.
Yeah.
Xhaka's poor play. There's exactly the Arsenal misfit is bringing it today. Thank you. Xhaka's poor play isolates Martinelli against Liverpool in that new position. Tierney can no longer support Martinelli because Xhaka can't get back fast enough. Arteta broke the left side, moving Xhaka.
Like I just said.
Yeah. Listen, I was going to say on the other podcast.
Permission to be smug, Tony. Permission to be smug.
When we were asked about El Neni and Granit Xhaka, my comments, I wrote it down here, was going to be Xhaka, you should have a label on him saying fragile, must handle with care. Because Granit Xhaka, you have to place him correctly in our midfield, or else he's going to be detrimental to us.
Can I say I told you
he's
so?
Detrimental
Xhaka?
up front, though. Playing as an 8 or 10 up in attack, he was detrimental.
Yeah, but that's the reason why Martinelli's not getting the service, right?
Put Sambi on there. Sambi and them.
No.
Samri and El Nini.
We can't risk Sambi Lokonga.
What? He hasn't made that many errors. I think he'd be good.
He was part of the midfield that didn't get any points for us in the last 5 games.
Not ready.
Not ready. You want to make top 4. You're not going to put Lokonga in there. Sorry.
A good player, but he's not ready yet.
I'm not.
I'll be back with you guys in just a minute.
All right. Why not? Thank you for being here.
Well, you say that when Xhaka gets a stupid red card and suspended for 3 games?
Yeah, then someone else comes in, right? But I think El Neni and Xhaka are experienced midfielders, and we have to go with experience.
They're not good enough. These
last 5 games
might not be, Tony, but right now they're our best options right now. As a pairing, they are what we've got, and they're the best options that we've got right now until the end of the season.
Agreed. I will agree with that.
Can we continue on that for a second?
Yeah.
Would you keep Torreira when he comes back? Or would you ship him out?
Keep who? Sorry, Tony.
Torreira.
Oh, Torreira. Do you know what? I like Torreira. I think he's a good player, but I think it's more mentality with him. I don't think he wants to be here, Tony. That's the problem. I think there's a good player there, but he never wanted to. He was here and never really wanted to be and wanted to go back home. And I don't think he ever really wanted to be here. So I can't see him staying.
I think he wanted to. I just think that long World Cup and traveling back and forth, and Emery was playing him constantly. He just got tired and didn't like the weather. I think if he was played different.
Why not instead? El Neni's better than Granit Xhaka. I would tend to maybe agree with that in certain aspects.
More consistent, certainly tidier, less irrational,
faster.
He's like you say, he's not flash, doesn't do anything special, but he does the simple things well, and he does it arguably better than Xhaka. Xhaka's got the ability to pull something a bit more special out of the bag than El Neni has to some degree, but it's not all that often. And when it is something special, it tends to be something spectacularly bad rather than good.
How much did El Neni cost us?
El Neni. It's a safer
El Neni, $5 million.
So 31 million less than Xhaka, and I think he's a better player.
Yeah, but the players don't get set the price tags. And,
yeah, but we could have had Conte for 31. It's still.
Arsenal Misfit said, Tony, the injuries to Tierney and Tomiyasu have caused the problems in the back 4. As much as I want Tavares to succeed, he is just not good enough right now. And Cedric,
I think Xhaka's new position has caused a lot of that.
Yeah, with injuries to Tierney and Tomiyasu, Cedric and Tavares are probably our best choices in those positions.
Yeah.
Right now. We do want that to change over the summer. Maybe Tavares probably got some things to learn, right?
Yeah. It's not ideal to have Kieran Tierney and Tomiyasu out at the same time, is it? Let's face it. And like you say, you've got 2 players there that, Cedric's probably the more experienced, and I would probably be more confident in him in his position than I would be in Tavares. But they're just not quite good enough just yet. And Tavares has got a lot to learn. He's still young. It'll take a lot from this season, I think. I think he will come back next year a better player. But he's got a lot to develop on. I think he's probably one of the players which we will see some of the biggest growth in, because he's got a lot of potential, but he's nowhere near where his potential is yet. I think he'll probably be one of the most improved players that we'll see next year. Because a lot of the other buys we've got, like Odegaard and stuff, they're already at such a good level. Yes, they have improvement, but I think the level of improvement you'll see with Tavares will be quite high. I think his learning curve is going to be quite big between now and next season. So I think we just have to grin and bear it at the moment. And just accept that he is our second option. We didn't really want to use him as much as we have, but we've had to. He's been chucked in, not really ideally, but he'll get good experience from that, and that'll stand him in good stead next season. It's just we just have to grin and bear it at the moment, because he is going to make some mistakes.
Would you consider switching to a back three? Because both those players are more of wing backs than full backs. Cedric and Tavares both, I think,
maybe
are
more. A wide out lane, you would do that maybe. But do you sort of signal then that the whole team is signaled then to be into the defensive mode, even though that's maybe not what the reason for going three at the back would be? Who knows? The Assemble said, we've all known Xhaka was the weak link in midfield, but instead of replacing him, Arteta decided to re-sign him and keep the same problems, and then wonder why we're still conceding similar goals. True. And I do hope that Granit Xhaka can leave with the goodwill of the fans, having secured top four for us, Never understood the fascination with a player who's left the club. Like, we're still following him. You might as well let me know how's Aubameyang doing at Barcelona as well. I'm not sure.
Even the players I like, I don't follow.
Ask Piers Morgan, he'll know.
Do any of you follow the players after they leave? I don't.
Not really. No. Not really.
Unless they're an absolute legend.
I wanted Willock to stay, but I didn't. I accepted it and I moved on. Okay. So, nice touch by Arsenal fans, Matt, in the 7th minute. Horrible thing that happened to Ronaldo, losing the child in that fashion. And a nice solidarity from our fans in the 7th minute for Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, really, it's great to see, because football has two faces sometimes. It can be quite ugly, in certain cases. I know we've had, obviously, a lot of racism, etc. in the game. We've had a lot of campaigns and things like that, and we've had the ugly side of the game. But then you see things like this where, people rally round. They understand that certain things, transcend sport and transcend the game, and they're more important. And you can take a step back and actually, show some support for somebody who's gone through a very difficult time. So, yeah, it's great to see that even clubs who are rivals, and have had a lot of history, show a lot of respect to each other and show a lot of respect to a player who's gone through an incredibly difficult time. So, no, I'm all for that, and it is good to see, and I'm glad that clubs are showing a lot of class about it. And that's what we should be doing. That's what clubs should be doing. And I know Ronaldo's appreciated it, because I know he put out something on his Twitter with me, particularly against Liverpool, when they did the similar thing. So yeah, no, it's good for us to do, and we should be doing that. And fair play to playing,
Yeah, there's times when tragedy like that transcends football tribalism. Stan, thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you may be.
Actually, yeah, you're right. It's just crept into afternoon. Sorry, I thought it was still morning here. Not been up long.
Stan, where have you been the last hour? We need to know your whereabouts.
Been in bed. Bit of a late one yesterday. What with the football, followed by boxing, and then some movies in the evening, and a bit of work this morning. Came back and went to bed.
So did the boxing go how you thought it would?
Yeah, it did actually. It did.
It was never going to go another way, was it?
No. I wish I'd put some money on, because I actually called the round as well. I was like, bloody hell.
Yeah.
I thought we should have. And I got the result right for Man United as well. So I wish I'd put some bets on. I would have, I'm not really a betting man. And usually when I put a bet on, I lose. Every time I don't put a bet on and you think about it, it turns out how it is. It's always the way.
Stephen said, Erdegaard will be even better when we have a goal scoring forward for him to give assists. and find
100%. Yeah, agree with that.
Steve, the player, is now sitting on the bench. No chance, Tony. I think that means the Martinez from Inter. Arsenal don't need to play three at the back to be defensive. That is the mindset of Arteta, son of Moyes. Defend first compact, be compact. Okay, so Stan, we're up probably into the middle of the first half. Okay.
Yeah.
We've had the Nuno. We want to have a quick word about Nuno Tavares. The good and the bad we saw of him yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, he scores the first goal, which was a great redemption story for him, I thought, after being taken in and out of the team. But during the match yesterday, I mean, there were certain points where he literally gave me the horrors in some of the things that he does. So he's a bit of a mixed bag, Nuno Tavares. He got an assist as well, didn't he? No, that was in the Chelsea game. He got an assist, didn't he?
Chelsea game,
Yeah, that was the first goal. Yeah, that was Nketiah's first goal. Yeah,
he got an assist. No, for Nketiah's second goal, I think it was.
Second goal,
yeah, the second goal. So he's been producing, but he does give me the horrors in certain situations. So there's a little bit of work to be done.
That's something we have to put up with a little bit, Stan.
Or tell him to stay put back in left back instead of attacking, or switch to a back three. As a wing back.
It all depends on the instructions that he's getting, right?
Yeah, his instructions.
Just before he scored that first goal, I was thinking to myself, God, he's left a big gaping hole behind him, But it resulted in him getting the follow through for a goal. So there's still he's a work in progress, I think. But I think that we're just going to have to pray for these remaining games by getting cards like that. But he is also interested as well, so it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Somebody was trying to interrupt your microphone there, Stan.
Yeah, you came a little bit in and out there, a little bit wavy. Why on earth would Inter sell their best player? That's insane. I think they
he's on auction block.
I think they need the money as well, Helen. Yesterday started at 7 a.m. and ended at 4 a.m. after work on beat, but floating thanks to the performance. Yeah, always puts a spring in the step when Arsenal win a game. Steve, if you were Jesus, why would you leave City to go to Arsenal? Fair point. But I think City may be telling them, hey, we're going to get a player in and you're going to have less opportunities to play next season. If you want to see a true underdog story, Bayern won their 10th league in a row.
Can I just say about Gabriel Jesus? I mean, he's kind of been at City for quite some time, but he's never had the opportunity to be their main man. He's like the understudy to a player. That player leaves, and rather than him getting the step up, they look for him to spend over 100 million to bring someone else in. So I think if you're in his position, even though he's got titles, he wants to probably go somewhere and play a more constructive part in the winning process. And that's, being the number one striker somewhere and getting a lot of game time. And he'll probably get that at Arsenal. And I think as we're talking about him, looking at the links, that's the link that I'm quite pleased about. I think he'd be oven ready. He's got something to prove. I mean, he scored 4 yesterday. He's got a goal in him. And he's
got good timing as well, right, Stan?
Yeah, and he scored a lot of goals by playing out not of his usual position as well. So it shows a little bit of versatility.
Yeah. And our
Do
fans
we really need a third Gabriel?
Yeah, our fans always have opinions. We'll talk a little bit about the strikers toward the end of the show as well, a little bit more. But Matt, we go 2-0 up through a long VAR check for an offside, and then it came to be a penalty for us, and Saka dispatches it.
Yeah, like I say, it seemed to take a while, didn't it, for the check? I think initially it was Eddie Nketiah, wasn't it? Because Saka, I think was it Odegaard who dinked the ball.
Actually, Elneny intercepts the ball. He plays it to Odegaard, and Odegaard chips it into Saka.
That's it. Yeah, just pinged off, and then Nketiah was caught offside, and obviously Saka was bundled down in the process. But yeah, fair play to Saka. It's another penalty. Good to see him having the cojones to step up and take it. He's got his confidence. Obviously, the Chelsea penalty as well. Good. It's great. He's obviously a confident lad. Especially after the Euros and what happened. He's fair play to him for stepping up and taking it. And it was a confident finish as well. Both of them were really good penalties, well placed. Hit with confidence, unlike Bruno Fernandes's one. And obviously the other penalty, I can't remember the other penalty. Was it? There's another game today, wasn't there? Where it was the Chelsea West Ham game, wasn't it? Terrible penalty. So we've seen some stinkers over the last kind of few games with penalties being taken, but yeah, no, Saka's stuck him away nicely, so good on him.
Alan, thanks for joining us today. Good win for Liverpool. Keep on winning until that Spurs game, and we'll see what happens. We need Spurs to do that. Tony, the only question was, Saka, would he go in the same corner as the Chelsea game? He switched it up.
Yeah, he switched it up. To me, like I said earlier, I think the goal should have been given to Eddie. I think play should have went on. Instead, you had VRR go on forever. To me, he should have played advantage, goal, then done with it.
Stan, Saka's not bad at the penalties now.
Can I just answer the question that you have up there? I mean, I think the manager has a lot to do with it. That's a lot like saying, I'm thinking of buying Raheem Sterling to play on the wing for me, and then someone else saying, well, why would you do that? He plays as a striker for Man City. That's because the manager has changed it that way. Gabriel Jesus is a number 9, but it's just that he's been deployed in that position and he hasn't kicked up a fuss about it like some players do. He's just got his head down and done the best that he can do when he's been asked.
Yeah.
But he is a number 9, and it just shows that if we did get him, that there's versatility, that he could play in another position if needed.
Yeah.
Sorry, your original question that you was going to ask.
Because Saka 2 penalties in a row now. Not bad.
Yeah. No, not bad at all. I mean, it shows you another side to his personality. How many times when you see a penalty shootout, you see certain players, they sort of like start walking away from the manager.
Don't pick me.
I'm not here. You can't see me. He doesn't seem to be. He doesn't seem to be that
missing, right? He
John Cena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Tom has a question for Stan.
First of all, Stan, goals for Saka against City, against Chelsea, against Man United, against Spurs. He does show up in big games, right?
Yeah, he's the real deal. He is the real deal. As far as I'm concerned, all he's missing is. There is a part of me that's always felt that him and ESR, Odegaard, and even Martinelli may have played too many games this season. In a perfect world, they wouldn't have had to play so many games. But then the other flip side of the coin, it probably hasn't done a player like Saka any harm. He's had a lot of experience this season.
Yeah.
My mouth's watering at the prospect of what he's going to deliver for us next season.
I'm worried about his thigh. Shouldn't have played.
Newsflash, only thinking about Saka's thighs.
Yeah, listen, that's something that Arsene Wenger used to say, if you're too close to the danger zone, hopefully the Arsenal... And we haven't had many issues, I think, with injuries, saying, the Arsenal medical team, I think they're doing a decent job. So hopefully they're monitoring that stuff. And, Saka does play a lot. It doesn't look like Pepe is going to get a look in for the remainder of the season either. Stan, you missed out on the chance to talk to Ralph.
Oh, no, I missed all the fun.
Yep. Are you upset? You're obviously upset about that.
Yeah, I am actually. I had a couple of questions for Sean Dyche after that opal fruits incident that we were all witness to.
I mean, if you had a question, what would you ask Sean?
If I had a question to ask Sean, I would ask him I'd ask him about his fixation with opal fruits and whether that shootout that we were all witness to with the police that Sunday, whether that was really the reason why Burnley felt, it's bad PR.
Compelled to let him go.
I know it's in his own time, but he is representing the club even when he's in his spare time, and he is the face of a brand. So a shootout with the police for stealing opal fruits from the local newsagents is not the sort of reputation I would imagine any
Not good.
organisation would want to be associated with. So he had to go.
Steven said, "We've got Gabby in the middle, a Gabby at the back. Might as well sign another so he can play attack." Very, very poetic.
But the thing is, though, when Arteta's going to be standing on the sideline going, Gabby, 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 we'll have
All
three
three of
players.
them.
Three players.
The whole
stomping and
team
looking
would
around.
just turn around. Yeah.
Observation: why do Arsenal always seem to sell their captain and then say we lack leaders? Because we try to keep our best players and by giving them the captaincy, and then that only lasts for maybe a season or so. Okay, Tony. 2 minutes later, Ronaldo, lack of concentration. Ronaldo scores against us. We're enjoying a 2-0 lead, but it's cut in half.
Yeah, them entire midfield and defense went to sleep. He just snuck in there. Easy goal for him. We'd have to start getting our concentration up because we did that to Chelsea twice in the middle of the week. So that needs a lot of working on. Like I said, I don't know what's happened to the communication.
It's concentration.
It's both.
Well, I think Gabriel is marking Ronaldo, and Ronaldo moves his player by moving himself, and then he goes back in my opinion.
Well, I think there are a lot of people just asleep there.
Where do you stand? Did you see that goal, the Ronaldo goal?
Yeah, and for me, with Ronaldo, when he's in that position and he done the pass, you know that he's going to make a move to get the pass back. He wasn't in a shooting position. He played a player, and then that allowed him to make a run to get into a shooting position. You need somebody all over him, like a cheap suit, because when he's on the pitch, he can make things happen. There's no, we know this. No matter how old you might think he's getting, he doesn't need to have the pace. He's got a footballing brain. He knows where to be. So you got to put somebody on him, especially maybe even if you don't put somebody on him for the whole game, set pieces, things like that. And he done it there. As soon as he gave that ball away, I just thought to myself, he wants to get that ball back. He's moving to get into a shooting position to get to get that ball back. He's the main outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's intelligent. He drifts and he moves, and his timing of his runs is excellent. And the amount of times that we were caught napping, and he pretty much moved free reign across the midfield into dangerous areas without people picking him up. On that particular goal, both Gabriel and Tavares were both caught napping. He got between the both of them. And Ramsdale, to be fair, he kind of half came out and thought, oh crap, no, I should go back, and got caught in, no man's land, didn't know what to do. Lack of communication from him and the defenders. They were all just at 6s and 7s. The two defenders weren't watching Ronaldo and where he was coming from. Ramsdale probably saw him coming and didn't communicate well enough with the defenders that he was coming out to grab it. And then he kind of if it's a goalkeeper, you're coming out, you come out and you commit. If you've made that decision, you go full pelt and you go for it. You don't kind of half stop and then, half commit. So I think it was just a bit of a calamity, to be honest, between the three of them. And against quite a player of that quality, you're going to get punished every time.
Is this something? I know Gabriel, Matt, has had a newborn. Is he losing some sleep? Is he losing some concentration?
Yeah, possibly.
I don't think it has anything to do with it.
There's some mistakes being creeping into his game,
Yeah.
Tony, against Crystal Palace.
And Ramsdale and White, everybody.
So you think it's a collective thing?
I think it's either communication or the fact that Zaka's further up the pitch and doesn't drop back and fill in as a fullback or whatever. There's too many holes.
And look, Ronaldo is a great player. He's going to score some goals. And if we were Manchester United fans, we'd probably be saying it's just papering over the cracks right now, Stan. But Ronaldo's going to get his goals. We just maybe have to accept that. Well, we came out on top 3-1 in the end.
I mean, he got one and not a hat trick.
Yeah.
So he got his goal, and we managed to try and keep him quiet for the rest of the match.
Yeah.
But he's very much about his personal record. I mean, for him, he walks away with what's actually his 100th Premier League goal now. But for the team, his goal hasn't really done anything for them. Can't do it all by himself.
Like Gabrielle's wife can't do it all by herself. BX said a newborn is definitely draining, especially
when like they can't afford a nanny.
Sharing duties. Tony would
tell me he can't afford a nanny.
Tony would get a nanny, right, Tony?
I would get a nanny.
I don't think Gabriel Jesus' work rate is a good replacement for Pepe's quality on goal with the ball, but Gabriel Jesus is a suitable replacement for Nketiah.
Doesn't matter because we're not going to play Pepe.
Still need a number one striker with all-round game. I'm hoping next year is going to be a different season, Tony. I'm hoping Pepe's still around and he's going to be used a lot more in the cup games.
What makes you think he's going to be used?
I said I hope.
You can hope all you want. It doesn't mean it's going to happen.
I know.
Is it a moot point?
We had no cups and we are desperately short of players. And
basically, Tony, you're telling Ray that. Hang on.
Players in, yeah.
Yes, it's a moot point, Stan.
So basically, Tony, you're telling Ray that this is a moot point, right?
Yep.
Okay. It's like somebody.
I believe the score between you two now is 2-1.
It's like somebody
Tony's
saying
in the lead.
Guendouzi FC won today. Like they're saying Guendouzi FC won today. I think it was Why Not said that, but he's not coming back to Arsenal. Accept it.
No.
Move on. Okay, so Matt, notwithstanding that we go in 2-1 at halftime. What?
Notwithstanding that mute point, let's move on.
Notwithstanding that mute point.
Notwithstanding. Why are you saying that?
And it is a mute point because I got another point.
It just sounds good.
And forthwith.
Me and Mr. Tom have been talking about that particular phrase just yesterday.
It's such a great phrase. I love to use
Vince McMahon says it on commentary all of the time. And we were talking about it. So when you said that, I thought you knew about it and was having a little joke there.
Play along. You could have let me play along like I knew. Matt, notwithstanding all of that, we go in 2-1 at the half. But we had the Cedric handball. Man United hit the bar a couple of times, so we were lucky to go in at the half 2-1 up, right?
Yeah, to be honest, they had a couple of good opportunities. I mean, we almost gave away a goal just after that United goal as well. Ramsdale and Ben White kind of messing around with the ball, within our own box.
Yeah. Yep.
To me, I think Ben White shouldn't have played that ball back to Ramsdale and put Ramsdale under the unnecessary pressure there. But yeah, we were lucky, I think, not to go in down. To be honest, because I think it was Tellez who hit the. I know it was Tellez that had a shot saved by Ramsdale, and Cedric had a bit of a nightmare.
If you could just work in notwithstanding, that would be great as well.
Oh dear, but yeah, no, it was good to go in half time without conceding another one, because that's very Arsenal like, is to kind of go 1-0 up and then go in at half time 2-1 down and then be chasing the game. So I'm glad that wasn't the case, because let's face it, they were having a number of opportunities, but and then I think Tavares nearly hit the moon with his shot just after half time.
Yeah.
It's such a good opportunity. He did so well to come inside to create the space for the shot, but just absolutely skies it. You just think anybody else, Emil Smith-Rowe, Odegaard, Saka, anyone to take that shot. And he absolutely skies it. But
if he gets that in, he's a folk hero and gets a statue outside the stadium. If he got that in.
My notes on 50 minutes. Tavares cuts inside, wild shot over the bar. He's still quite raw, Stan, isn't he, Tavares? But we're hoping with the benefit of the season and that he'll kick on a little bit, and that goal will have helped as well for his confidence. Like you said, redemption, Stan.
8 million. I mean, it was peanuts.
Yeah,
what we paid for him. Yeah. So there's going to be some work to do. I don't know if that means that he's a player that would need to go out on loan, and we would need to bring in another left back, because he's only had just over. I don't think it's even quite 35 games in the top league, and 24 of those were. I think 24 of those were in Benfica. So it's quite raw. It's not like he was playing in the Portuguese league for a few seasons before he came to us. It's quite raw. So there might be a shout for him to go out on a loan, because there's definitely a player in there. It's just sometimes when he's defending, it really gives me the horrors.
Yeah. For sure. 57 minutes, Tony. A penalty. There's a VAR decision. The handball. That's Tavares again. He did have an eventful game. I don't know if this pushes him into the Tony Don Juan man of the match reckoning. I'm guessing not, but yeah.
Sometimes the more you hear your name, the worse it is.
Yeah, like the referee, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, penalty. It's a tough one, but you can't really dispute it, right?
It's in a natural position, but it didn't look intentional at all. It just kind of looked the way he jumped. He just had his arm up and just, I don't know. I think it's questionable if there's a intentional handball or not.
So Stan, it's always good to have like some villains of the piece, right? So against Chelsea it was Azpilicueta, right? You love these things that happen to these players. Against United, it was Bruno.
Yeah, I was particularly pleased about Bruno hitting the post. I mean, when he first came into Man United, they were like lauding him, weren't they? It was the best thing since like the invention of fire, almost. But now he's literally, his form is in the toilet, and I'm pretty happy about that, you know.
Yeah.
And we've had similar games where you're trying to get into a game and nothing just comes off for you, and then you get a penalty shout, and you think, right, this can put us back into the game, and it hits the post, and you just think to yourself, as a fan, when you see that happening to your team, you just think, yeah, it ain't happening for us today. And when I saw that happen, I was just like, it's over for them in this game. It doesn't matter what they're going to try and do today. It's just not meant to be. You know?
And Stan, at this point, we had the tears of the Tottenham fans and we had the tears of the United fans, and we just were drinking them up, right?
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
Matt, just like Stan was saying, I'm thinking it's Bruno, but he's had a desperate time. He's had such terrible form. I'm still thinking he's going to score, right? But I'm not surprised that he misses.
Yeah, I was very surprised that he took it, actually. I was thinking when you got Cristiano Ronaldo on the pitch, why wouldn't you choose him to take it? It was a bit like that in itself gave me a little bit of hope for some reason. It was a very small slither of hope.
Did anyone notice if Ronaldo went to get the ball and Bruno was like, no,
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Wasn't interested?
Bruno, yeah. But to be honest, I thought it was a small slither of hope, but I didn't really expect realistically for him to miss it, especially not even get it on target, so to speak. But yeah, very relieved. But it was just Ramsdale's like response afterwards was brilliant. Just like run
shades of Martin Keown to Van Nistelrooy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Obviously, you got that picture with Odegaard like right next to him as well.
I'm actually glad that our players sort of stopped him from going. It seemed like he was going to go right into Bruno's face, but it seems like some of our players like, hold on, let's just hug it out. You know what I mean?
But I have to say that when I see things like that, and it's very similar to Bruno Neves saying, look at the way that they celebrate goals, like they've just won the World Cup. I actually think that it's what you're seeing when you see these kind of reactions, especially when you look at Martin Odegaard. I see relief.
Yeah,
I don't see fuck it, let's get it up them. Yeah, that's shit. I see relief, and for me, when you feel like that, it gives you belief, right? Yeah. It gives you belief because if you're looking at Chelsea game, twice in that Chelsea game we were ahead, and then they pegged us back, and it could have been so easy for heads to have dropped and be thinking it's just not our day today.
Yeah, but it almost happened twice in this one.
and they never gave up the ghost. And I don't want to spoil it with the Xhaka goal, but just all I will say is that the timing of that when it happened, the time on the clock, just as that happened, we were sort of like our play had gone down a little bit.
It was past.
We'd lost a little bit of gas, and when that goal happened, it lifted everybody. It came at forget how good the actual goal was. The timing of it, it couldn't have been any better at all. That was it. Then that was it. The shop was closed after that.
Yeah, we had to withstand the offside, the VAR offside of the Ronaldo goal. Worried me a little bit they were going to finagle the angle to Gabriel or White's leg or back of his heel to Ronaldo, but I thought the shadow of the stand was perfectly level, so I was working off of the shadow of the stand. I know it's not perfect math, but it's probably better than the VAR team even.
Their line is always.
Yeah, and then when the commentators say we don't have a great angle, so we don't know how they're going to determine this. You have to do better. We have to do better than this. And then Matt, the Dallo shot, probably the turning point here. Ramsdale fingertip saved onto the bar here.
Yeah, I was going to say again. Tavares beaten. A really good save at his near post, tips it onto the post. By that point, bear in mind he'd hit the bar and the post by that point, Dallo.
Yeah,
so he got very close a couple of times.
He had a great shot in the first half, right?
Was that sorry, Ray?
He had a great shot in the first half as well.
Long ranger hit the bar. This is the thing; they had numerous chances in the game, and close calls. But sometimes, like Stan says, you get the rub of the green. Sometimes it goes your way.
We're not going to get too high or too low because, we beat Chelsea 4-2, but it was a close game in the end. And we beat United 3-1, and it was also a close game. Arsenal Misfit said the missed penalty was the turning point of the game. It killed them and pumped us up, Stan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course it helps. I mean, as I say, as soon as I saw them, when I saw that penalty hit the post, I was just like, it's not their day today. Mm-hmm. It's not their day. It's not their day today.
Yeah, and look, I always look at the league and I think around Easter, you're going to get some strange results. I'm not trying to rationalize what happened against Brighton, what happened against Southampton, because clearly we should have done better. Crystal Palace, I can see Patrick Vieira doing a good job there. So that was a crazy scoreline, but not a crazy result. Anything can happen around Easter, and we're seeing that happening now, even in the league. So hopefully we forge on. Tony, with all that being said, we were let off the hook. We have been let off the hook with those offsides, hitting the post. And who steps forward but the midfield general, Tony? You knew I was going to go to you first, right?
Yeah, well, we've already commented earlier. Like I said, it's a great shot. Whether if there's a goal or not, I'm not sure. Because Eddie was definitely offside. I don't understand why they don't drill cameras into the goalpost so you can see stuff like that. See if they actually blocked the goalkeeper's view. If he was closer, they would have definitely said he blocked his view.
You could see David De Gea trying to look the other side around.
To the right, yeah. He peeps to the right, but the shot was already on its way.
Yeah. I don't think he would have gotten to it either, Stan, even if he hadn't peeked to the right. But I want to say Mohamed El Neni.
If he'd got behind that ball, the ball would have just pushed David De Gea over the line and through the net and just kept going.
It was a rocket. It was a rocket. Who lost the ball, Stan? Who lost the ball?
Was it Tavares?
No, it was Fernandez lost the ball.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
It came out of the box.
Yeah.
So that makes it better.
I wasn't expecting that.
Fernandez lost the ball. Mohamed El Neni recovers the ball, gives it to Granit Xhaka.
That's right. I wasn't expecting that. I thought there's another pass going to be coming, but no. I mean, he has got a couple in before, but he's also, missed quite a lot of those
He's
as
kicked
well.
about 50 of them into Rowe's head.
Yeah, that's his
But
one
sometimes,
season.
but you got to want to take them, right?
Yeah.
You got to want to take them. I'm glad he went for it and took it.
You know, it's like the other week. I didn't understand why, if it's not Odegaard taking a free kick, why you don't have Zaka, because he does a power there. Cedric taking that
I
was
don't think
weird.
Jack's got the technical ability to get the ball up and over the wall. He can welly it, like Vermaelen is a good wellier, but I don't think he's got the technique to wrap balls around or above walls.
Xhaka goal, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
BX says, as fans, we were treated to 2 fantastic games, 6 points and 7 goals. And Matt, okay, we could have beaten Brighton, we could have beaten Southampton, but it probably means a little bit more. Stan, I'll go to you then. It means a little bit more beating the bigger teams and getting. These are like huge games, right, against Chelsea and
Matt must have ran off for dinner.
United. He didn't like my question. Maybe you got hungry, Tony. Huge game, Stan, to win, right?
Yeah, I just think that if you isolate the 3 games where we had those bad results, I honestly put it down to a lack of experience in the team. And you mentioned earlier about Gabriel Megalegs and Ben White making mistakes. And I've always said from the day that we saw the rebuild happening and we knew that they were going to be our centre backs, I said, well, where's the leadership there then? Who are they learning off?
Yeah.
We're talking about very good players individually, but they still are having to learn. And there's only so much you can learn in training. Sometimes you get a lot of it through in-game. And there isn't anybody in there teaching Ben White. He's learning from Gabriel. Gabriel's learning from Ben White. They're at a similar level. Do you see what I mean? And I just think that when you have that in the team, I mean, if we replaced Xhaka and Lacazette tomorrow, we can't replace them with players between the ages of 20 and 23.
No.
Then you might as well just call us Crash FC. At some point, there needs to be some form of experience in there.
Well, Stan, what happened to you?
Hi, Tony.
Yeah.
I was at it. Let me.
Stan, when you went to school, hold on a second. Stan, when you went to school and the replacement teacher left the classroom, what happened? It was chaos, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I was usually the ringleader as well. All right, everyone, let's push all the chairs and tables up against the door so he can't get back in.
You can't do anything by committee. You have to.
Stan, did you hear what that dude said after the match?
No.
He said we were going after experienced, known players.
Okay, good.
Who said that?
Tony?
Edu said that.
Edu said that after the game.
Yeah. He said 1 or 2, right? 1 or 2.
It just depends how far you go. If you're talking about, say, for example, a Ruben Neves, I would get very much behind that. If you're going to go for, say, an Eden Hazard, then I wouldn't be so sure. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you could put Willian in that same category, right? And that didn't really pan out very well.
It's the recruit, the targeting of the right players in the right position is going to be crucial. Arsenal Misfit said the 3 losses were all due to not being able to break good, well-drilled, compact clubs, and that falls on the coaches and manager. I'd go a little bit further as well, Matt. You're going back to putting Granit Xhaka left back against Brighton. Southampton didn't seem to be any desire to break through against Southampton. I think a young team just thought they were going to turn up and roll Southampton like Chelsea had done the week before. So, there's some inherent problems in the losses we've had the last 5 games.
Yeah, we were very flat. We'd lost the mojo and the tempo, that motivation that we had in the games prior. We looked quite upbeat. The pace of the game was good. We controlled games a bit more. Suddenly we looked like a completely different team, and like the team that we had almost towards the beginning of the season, where we were just really flat, couldn't control games, couldn't really get going, just couldn't really. Yeah, we just looked very flat. All the wind had gone out of our sails. We were just not ourselves.
Finish the sentence. Not ourselves.
Hi, Matt.
Would
Frozen.
Stan freeze as well with simultaneous freezing? It's just you and I, Tony.
No, I was just pretending. Go on. Sorry.
Oh, Stan.
Stan was working on his acting.
Matt does
Yeah,
look
I
quite
was,
serious.
I was acting. I was acting, Raymond.
Stan, could you tell us about your new job offer?
You want to know? All right. So I basically I get an email from my agent, and she's like, "Oh, you've been asked to apply. You've been chosen and asked to apply to play a lead in a commercial, like not just an audio commercial, like film commercial." Oh wow, man! Wow, that's pretty cool. If you get that, you can raise your profile a little bit, right? So anyway, she goes, all right, they're going to send you an email and everything about what it's all about and everything, and they're going to send you a script, and they want you to film something on your phone and send it over to them and read these lines out. So I get it, and it's basically a commercial about a company's product which helps men with erectile dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
So do I really want to be known as the soft willy guy for the rest of my life?
Well,
Yeah, I know you. You're the soft willy guy. I've seen you picture on bus stops.
It would definitely be memorable, Stan. It would definitely be memorable. BX said here, this run is all vital experience for our squad. I was talking to Matt earlier about this. I think, Stan, this is the kind of experience we should gain that hopefully we're going to challenge for, dare I say, a title in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah,
we can gain this experience of needing to win games for a top 4 finish. It could help us when it comes to the white hot heat of a title challenge.
you're talking about experience, right? Let's say we've got 2 midfielders that we can choose from, and the 2 candidates are Ruben Neves and Yuri Tillemans. I like both of those midfielders, and I'd be happy to have either one. But if I'm only allowed to choose one, then I would choose Neves purely because of the experience that he would bring with him, already knowing the league. And Yuri Tillemans is still a little bit young. Ideally, I'd like to take them both.
I think we got the money for both because we're looking at one player that's 60 million a year.
Taking them both would be excellent, because
we
work a little bit with Tillemans, and we've got Neves in there. But if I can only choose one, just because of the comment that you had up previously, then I would go that way because, as I mentioned, once Xhaka and Lacazette go, where's the experience in the team? Even though Thomas Partey is more mature in age,
I also think
he's very introverted. He seems very introverted. He doesn't seem like he's going to be the one to be very vocal on the pitch.
Yeah, for combined 55 or 60 million, I think you have to take both.
I also think BX Gunner is talking about this run-in for our young players, for the young team, is they're gaining vital experience on the job.
Oh, yeah.
Winning games like this,
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, the Chelsea game, we went behind twice. And it isn't so long ago that if we'd gone behind once, we might have struggled to try and get anything out of the game. But we managed to come back twice. And that's a key learning point for these players.
Yeah. So, listen, if you hate Tottenham, hit the like button. If you hate United, hit the like button. If you hate Chelsea, Tottenham and United, hit that like button.
It's like it reminds me of the joke I heard yesterday. One guy shouts out, what do we think of Tottenham? And someone else shouts out, Amber Heard.
Couple of other housekeeping things here, Stan. Fernandez tackle on Tavares, a little bit high on the ankle.
Oh, how was that not a straight red?
Yeah.
How is that not a straight red?
It's Man United, not Arsenal, right?
Yeah. That was what was there was a foul just before that where we committed a foul, and it was and it was looked at, but that one there, that was, I don't understand how that was just a yellow, and they even, especially after going back and looking at it, he was nowhere near the ball, near the ball.
Granit Xhaka kicks the ball away, gets a yellow card. Other players get away with this stuff. I do feel he's harshly treated by referees, and this is part of the reason why we need to move forward from Granit Xhaka next season.
He deserves every card he gets. Come on.
Well, I just see other players doing similar things, and they don't get the same treatment. That's all I'm saying.
We've got quite a bit of cards for wasting time the last
I
6
hear
feet.
that, but if you're Granit Xhaka and you know that, and are you not thinking to yourself, well, I better not kick the ball away because I'll get booked for that.
Yep.
He's
They'll book
not
me.
going to modify. We've seen this. He said it. He's not going to change who he is. Granit Xhaka is Granit Xhaka. Red card all the way.
I
For
want to. I just want to say something about
Fernandes.
Granit Xhaka because there was somebody on Twitter
Fernandes.
yesterday, and they were kind of basically going, about how much hatred that Granit Xhaka gets, and that it's not fair, and blah 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 blah. And I just sort of responded to that person, and I put, look, yeah, there might be a very small pocket of people that cross the line, and you get that everywhere. But most of the people that I know, it's got nothing to do with hatred. It's just about thinking that we could upgrade. And I don't see any harm in a fan looking at a player and thinking, I'd like to be able to upgrade on that player. Nobody stays at the club forever. They all have to leave at some point eventually. And if we've been a team that's been struggling to get into the Champions League with certain players, is it wrong to say, well, maybe if we upgrade on those players, we might be able to get higher?
I think I've heard the same argument against El Neni. They don't actually dislike El Neni. They just think once Partey is injured, we should have a better midfielder than Mohamed El Neni, in their opinion, to bring into the team.
You see, but with Mohamed El Neni, I mean, I think it's you've been at the club a long time. You know what? Surely Mikel Arteta knows what a Neni can and can't do.
Yep.
But he goes out and he buys a player like Lokonga. He doesn't have a lot of experience, and I'm not saying that he's not going to become a good player for us. But I just think it's a bit weird to be throwing him into games when we're desperate, and you've got a Neni just there twiddling his thumbs. And then
I don't know why
you have to get to a situation where the guy that you've thrown in looks like he's sinking rather than swimming, and then you turn to El Neni, and then people are like, well, why didn't we draw from that well before? When you see how he plays, and those last two games have definitely for me put to bed the myth that El Neni is only capable of passing the ball sideways and backwards. Because I watched him, and he kicked the ball forward.
He can be aggressive. Yeah,
there's a lot of times.
Arsenal Misfit said any player that did what Xhaka did when he did it would have got the yellow. I just don't think that you can say referees are consistent in that way. So I don't think there's any way.
Oh no, we've been getting lots of yellows for time wasting. So
you see that question that Misfit put just below. The club needs better than Xhaka, and the fans deserve better. Yeah. If you're looking at El Neni and Xhaka, see, the reason that I would love to give El Neni another extension on his contract is quite simply that he is a very good squad player. If he's only and I've said this millions of times, if he's only 75% has the technical ability, 75% of your best midfielder, when you play El Neni, the thing is you get that 75% every single time.
Yep.
Whereas there are some players that may have more talent than him, and they don't always give you everything that they've got. And El Neni would, but that comment about the club needs better than Xhaka and the fans deserve better.
Absolutely.
I would understand it if we were going to say, for example, move Mohamed El Neni on, put Granit Xhaka into El Neni's stature in the squad, and then bring in somebody else who's better than Xhaka as an upgrade. Then I get.
I'd rather have El Neni.
That for me.
Yeah, I agree with Tony. I agree with Tony. Tony's saying rather keep El Neni as a squad player, move Granit Xhaka on, and get better.
Yeah, I would rather do that, but I'm saying I would be open to that.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know what I mean? If it meant that his standing within the squad wasn't so high, and he had had El Neni's role, I would be better with that.
BX Skinner said exactly, Stan. And we're getting to the point of the Tony Don Juan man in the match. One other question, Stan, I think you've already alluded to it. Lokonga is going to be a good player for the future, but we need experience in this run-in in these next 5 games. So El Neni will deputize for me as long as Partey is unfit to play.
Yeah, because he'll be 30 in July, so I would keep him.
El Neni knows he's a backup, where Xhaka thinks he's the best thing since sliced bread.
That's the problem.
I would extend El Neni for 2 more years. He's 30.
I mean,
midfielders.
It's great.
El Neni stays in his lane, whereas Granit Xhaka is weaving fucking all across everyone else. He's weaving all over the place.
Yeah, Stephen, we'll get into targets, future targets for the future, for the summer as well. In a second, we're going to get to the Tony Don Juan man in the match here. Many can't get over from football with Brownie here. Xhaka, the issue, and if he did that playing for my team, then I wouldn't forgive him. If he still continued to play for me club afterwards, many can't get over the Xhaka issue, which is the throwing of the shirt to the ground.
Yeah, Crystal Palace, yeah.
Just to me, he's still just bang average player. He's not good enough.
I mean, many of us still will keep that, Brownie. We haven't forgotten that, but certain managers have played Granit Xhaka through the storm. Emery and Arteta, and
I didn't think Emery did. I thought Freddie took over.
well, I think I don't know if did he play for Emery ever since after that. That's a good.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
Okay.
I think Freddie came in.
But I guess it was taken out of Emery's hands. Then we'll never know what would have happened. If anyone ever has the opportunity to interview, and only Brownie will be that person, interview Unai Emery for us, Brownie, and ask that question.
You never know. He may pop on this podcast one Sunday and you can ask him yourself. The amount of people that keep coming on.
Stephen said, I would keep El Neni. I don't know why he gets a lot of hate. You know what you get, what you're going to get.
I would definitely give him a 2-year contract. I think that's right.
I think there's talk about it. Oh, my God. Ray says he agrees with Tony. This must be the end of it all. Well, we don't have Gary to fight with Tony, so maybe Gary's been the problem all along, Reddy. Who knows?
Yeah, but to be fair, though, Tony could start a fight in an empty room. So
True. So Stan, 19 wins. We're getting close to the 20-win mark that I want to see. 3 draws makes 60 points. We got 5 games left.
Way too many losses.
Yeah, we had 11 losses. Yeah, and I'll put this banner back up. Somebody took away my Cardiff City, my Wales City. There, a lot of L's in there, but a lot of W's in there, Stan.
I see you put up Brownie's postcode again.
Somebody took this down while I was away. I don't know if it was you, Gary, or Matt. But
Yeah, it's probably Gary.
Okay.
Wasn't me since you don't trust me, Ray.
It definitely wasn't you, Stan. Is that what you're saying? It definitely wasn't you.
I did delete some stuff. I just thought it was old. We don't need that. We don't need that. So it was me, sorry.
There was some non-negotiables in there, Stan. Stan's taking my banners down. Don Juan, thanks for joining us. But yeah,
I also added a couple of lines to my work contract with you as well. So you might want to look at the amendments.
Right, the contract.
Has Ray ever sent you that $500 that he said he would in the chat with him?
He says that he keeps telling me that he sent the money, but nothing comes through. He's always, I sent it, Stan, and it's one of them. It's on the never, never.
Yeah, it's on the never, never. Maybe we'll review it next season, Stan. Your rolling contract. We've had 19 wins, 3 draws, Stan. Too many losses per Tony. 60 points. Can we get to the 70 mark?
It's within our grasp. It really is.
10 points from 5 games, right?
Yeah, it's within our grasp.
I think we need it.
I just worry about the consistency that we may see a couple of performances along the way to the end of the season that we saw during the 3 where we should have got points, because Crystal Palace, Southampton and Brighton, I was certain we were going to get points from that. Certain. There's no way I thought, that's 0 points there, those 3 games. 0 points.
Yeah, most of us thought it was 7 points.
Yeah, there was something in there. So it's going to be a hard one. It's going to be a hard one to call, and it's very exciting into the season. It's like every game now is a must-watch game.
And these last 2 games we haven't played that well.
And the North London derby is just 2 games away now.
Yeah, it's right. It's right in the middle of that 5-game sandwich. Tony, we're getting close to the 66 mark. It may not be enough. We'll see.
I think it's going to be 69 to 71, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
I originally said 72.
I'd say if we hit 70, that would be enough. Notwithstanding the goal difference that Tottenham have.
What I said, we had to beat 3 out of 4 of West Ham,
Okay.
United, Chelsea, and Spurs. So I think if we beat West Ham, I think should be ours.
I think I like that phrase "notwithstanding" because it has "stand" right in the middle of it. Anyway, I digress. Tony Don Juan, man of the match. Stan, who have you got? Because Tony's going to tell us we were wrong and we should have picked this person. But
You don't want me to throw out the candidates?
you can throw the candidates out. It won't be Tavares, right?
Zaka, Saka, and Odegaard.
Ooh, Xhaka, Zaka, and Erdegaard.
Good choices. Yeah, good choices. I thought El Nene again had a
I'm
very.
going to throw Ramsdale in there as well. I'm going to throw Ramsdale. Hey, Matt.
How are you
know.
doing Ramsdale in there, Rick?
I'm not sure about
My
that.
internet has been horrendous the last couple of weeks.
We are near the
Please.
end. We are
Put
all
some coins in the meter.
the end.
Conveniently came back at the end, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
sorry about that.
Tony's given us Saka, Xhaka, and Erdegaard as possible Tony Don Juan man in the matches. I'm going to throw Ramsdale in there.
No.
No.
Ramsdale.
Fingertip save.
Some
Favorite
horrible
saves?
kickouts. Some horrible kickouts, man. Kicking it straight at the opposition.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can
I-
we get into that here in a minute? Why we've been playing out of the back so much the last 8 weeks?
Yeah, in a minute.
Great games.
Let's get our Tony Don Juan man in the match. Business out. Okay, listen. Don Juan's gone with Xhaka. Listen, I'll have to back that up. I'll say
Yeah, I would as well.
Granit Xhaka. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go as well. Credit where credit's due.
He scored a goal. He got a yellow card, not a red one. But credit where credit's due. Matt, what do you think?
You know what? It absolutely deserved, I think, with Xhaka. Odegaard was fantastic. I can absolutely, it'd be tight. For me, it'd be really tight between the two central midfielders. I'm going to, because 3 of you have gone for Xhaka, and I probably would have gone for Xhaka, but I think El Neni deserves some credit. I think the fact he's not played any football, he's come straight back into the side. He's done exactly what's needed of him. He's been tidy. He's been neat. He's not done anything crazy. He's stepped up to the mark, and he's stuck in a really good performance. So I'm going to.
Not just him being him, though.
What's that?
I said not just El Nini being El Nini, though.
Yeah, but do you
What
know
you get
it's
with
very yeah.
It's like Saka being Saka.
Like that. But Xhaka should be doing that every game, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
But he's more consistent recently. Granted, he's been fantastic the last few games, but I think El Neni did a cracking job. You can always rely on him.
Okay.
Coming back into those kind of games at the tail end of the season, fighting for top 4 when you haven't had any matches and any game time. Although he's experienced, that's tough. That's it's an ask.
Granit Xhaka gets it then. Okay, listen, a couple of people asked. We're going to do a couple of other things. We're going to be here for about another 10 minutes, then we'll get out of here. Matt, so Jesus and Abrams, what do you think on both of those? Tammy Abrams and Jesus.
Abrams isn't a bad player, but I don't think he's, if we're looking next level, I don't think he's quite that. I think he's probably going to do quite well in Italy because it's probably not quite as tough a league. But I think for me, Jesus, he's a very Arsenal player. Very, he's a nippy kind of, I would say, clinical, decent fluid forward. Very versatile, like Stan was saying earlier. I think he'd fit into our system very well. Gives us options. He can obviously score goals. Looking at what he's just done this weekend, so I think he'd be a good fit for the club, and I can see why we'd look at him. And if we can get him for the figures that have been kind of touted, then I think it'd be really good business, and I think he could do a really good job for us. I think Tammy Abrahams could be, again, he's one of those because he's a bit taller. Could he be an option B type player potentially? But out of the two of them, I would probably, lean far more towards Jesus than I would Tammy Abraham, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like Conte's looking at the PSG job, but that's just a Brownie exclusive, Stan. We don't know if it's officially verified or not. You can either touch that or you can touch Jesus and Tammy Abrams, or comment on them if you want.
Well, I kind of already waxed lyrical about Gabriel, so he's a player that I like. I always liked, and I'd like to go there. Yeah, if that's available, it all makes sense for everything Matt said and what I said earlier.
Premier League, he's worked with Arteta before, and he's got decent goals per games ratio.
And it's not going to cost an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
We need to be bringing in a few players, right? So if we can bring in a Gabriel Jesus for that kind of money, it leaves change to get another one in.
And look, I know Reddy said he's tired of rejects, but I wouldn't see Jesus, although he's moving from City. It's not like a Chelsea reject. It's not like a Willian.
Technically, every transfer is a reject, right? Every transfer done is a reject.
There's going to be a lot of twists and turns. Obviously, it depends on where we finish in the season, Tony. But Jesus and Tammy Abrams are talk of the town right now.
Definitely no for Abrams and Jesus. I'm just not sure if I want to give another Premier League team money to go possibly outbid us for another target we need.
I
think he's a secondary striker option, not our primary.
I mean, they've already got some money, City, so it's not like we're going to be boosting their coffers.
You have to look at that Jota's move to Liverpool. I mean, that's worked out very nicely for him. Moving from one Premier League club to another.
It's
I'm on the
25
fence
million. That's not bad.
I'm on the fence on it.
If it's 25 million, that would not be a bad amount of money for.
No,
that'd be an incredible amount of money. I think that's a bargain if we get him for that.
Decent,
because he's worth 50 million euros. I don't see us getting him for 25 million.
I can't see it being that low, but if we got him anywhere near that, even around the 30, 35 million mark, that's still good money, I think.
Yeah, I think it'd be closer to 35.
Matt, 60 points, 19 wins. We're very close to that goal. What I like to see, 20 wins. In a few years, I want to get close to 30 wins, but I'll take 20 for now, 20 plus.
20's not going to be enough this season, right? You'd have to want up it a few.
We're going to need a few more. How many points do you want to see, Matt, to feel? I think we might have already mentioned this earlier today.
Yeah, I think we were looking at around. I think I said 11 points from the rest of the season's games. I think that's what I'd like to see. 11 points.
Okay.
I think that's reasonable.
Next round of games, Tony. Tottenham play Leicester, and we play West Ham.
That's going to be a tough game for them because Leicester's came into form.
The Leicester play earlier today. What was their result? I think. Well, West Ham, Matt.
Leicester was a draw. Leicester was a draw.
A draw, 1-1 or something, wasn't it? I do hope Leicester can do something against Tottenham, and we have to go and do the business, Matt, against West Ham.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're going to be favoured. I mean, today's obviously result with Chelsea was a bit unfortunate for them. Obviously, they had Dawson sent off, didn't they? Very late on, and I think that'll only benefit us because I think obviously they'll be missing all of their kind of fit centre backs for us. So that'll do us a bit of a favour. So hopefully that works favourably for us. We're probably playing them at a good time. So yeah, no, I think we need to be going and winning that game. Like you say, the fact they haven't got any fit first team centre backs will help. It's never a bad thing facing a team like that. But I'd say that's probably our toughest fixture next to Spurs. But they've obviously got Liverpool left to play still, and they're almost. Well, I'd like to think that's almost fingers crossed that Liverpool.
A certain defeat.
Leicester was 0-0 yesterday against Villa.
0-0 with Villa, and that's Steven Gerrard. He's not that great after all. I don't think anyway. Well done to Brentford for taking a point, 2 points off Tottenham, getting a point. But
and 2.5 points for Tony if Ray gives it to me. We never know.
It's 4 points, I think. For points.
Was it 4?
Stan, West Ham have to play a Europa League semi-final in the midweek, and they're going to face the second leg after us. So we're right in the middle of that sandwich. Hopefully that is that to our benefit. We get 7 days off. They don't.
Well, they've got their mind, on
Minds.
other things, right? So
Yeah.
I think that we, when it comes to West Ham, that we're playing them in the middle of their semi-final is probably good for us.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, definitely. Tony?
Just out of the blue, just something random. I put it on the Barcelona game. The sponsorship thing is stop invasion. It's kind of nice seeing Ukraine put on there on the banner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that's made that into a game.
Listen, want to get final thoughts from everyone then? Who wants to go first?
Well, I can go first. Yeah, I think it's positive. I think the mood's been lifted. I think we were all sat here after the last 3 games prior to Chelsea thinking that was the season over. Fourth was no longer in our control and we were relying on Spurs to throw it away. But, now it's kind of back in our hands again and we're not quite back to square one before those 3 games, but almost as good as. And it's now up to us to go and win the remaining games, keep the motivation and the confidence high, and just go out and play football and hopefully play our players in the right positions. Learn from that. That'd be good. And just make the most of our remaining fixtures, starting with West Ham. Like I say, playing them at a good time. Hopefully we can get 3 points there and wrap it up, hopefully, before we play Tottenham. That'd be ideal. But I've got a feeling that Tottenham North London derby game might be one that becomes quite important. So it might add a bit of spice to that fixture, as if it needs any more away from home as well. So that'll be interesting. But no, a bit more confident now. I think that the team will obviously have a little bit more of a boost. So I think we'll see some better football in the games coming up and finish the season strongly, I hope.
Thanks, Matt, for joining today. Listen, there's a backstage pass there as well. Stan, this one we thought we were at. We're back in. 2 big wins this week. And we're back in it. The top 4 race.
Yeah, a very good week of football for Arsenal. Against 2 teams which we consider, part of our rivals of where we want to be and what we want to achieve. So a fantastic week. It kind of wipes the stain of those 3 games a little bit away. Again, onto our next game, which is another mini cup final. And I just hope that when it gets to the end of the season, that we're not looking back on dropping the results to some of those 3 fixtures, and that we
Hi, Thomas.
we're not suffering for any of those losses, of not nicking any points there. It'll be such a shame if we miss out on our target by 1 point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be. Tony, final thoughts?
First
Any
thought
thoughts?
is I hope Saka's thigh's okay. Worried about that. Why are you laughing about?
You worry too much about
Because you're going to be dreaming about Saka's thighs.
We talked about
So we
Tomiyasu's
can
calves
think about.
for 2 months. Why can I mention Saka's thigh? I don't get it.
I like to talk about football.
Second thought is, how the fuck did Ray not say roller coaster when his uncle said it yesterday?
You don't want me to say roller coaster. I happen to believe being a fan of a football team means you have to accept some ups and downs. I think Mr. Tom maybe will back me up on that, And
yeah, slightly.
It is a roller coaster. You don't go to a game thinking you're going to, unless you're City, you don't go to a game thinking you're going to win every game.
I'm used to a roller coaster that mainly goes downwards.
Yeah.
But,
Where at times you will hate football, Mr. Tom, and at times you will start to like it a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
Well, anything else, Tony?
We've gotten kind of lucky that we played a worn-out Chelsea after they played Palace.
Yeah, I can't deny that. Yeah, and we
This
beat
game could have went different ways if they didn't hit the bar. Some VAR decisions. I think it was close.
You can only beat who's put in front of you.
I know.
If you have a tired Chelsea team, you still have to go and win the game. You still have to score goals to win. If you have a very bad Manchester United team, You have to ride your luck and win the game.
Yeah, I just hope our players don't get too high after those 2 wins, and we just keep concentrating and get the results that we should get instead of getting weird results that we got a couple weeks ago.
And we'll have some fun with Mr. Tom when that fixture comes up. It's coming up very soon for Leeds. But Tom, thanks for joining. Late on, we'll be backstage. Anyone else wants to join in, maybe ready, grab the link, drop in. Stan, thanks for joining.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
And it was great to have Matt and obviously Ralph and who was the other guy? Sean.
Sean, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Take care, everyone. Until the next one, we'll see you around. Come on, you Gunners. And what's the Leeds one?
Leeds.
That was easy to remember.